midway point at the Gilley Shield. And the two top teams after round one go head-to-head to kick off round two. It's the 75th Gilley Shield, live from South Australia on beautiful Ghana land. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in Australia and around the world. I'm Eric Balnar, joined by James Harris. And James, the tournament ended with these two teams, the tournament started with these two teams, and round two continues with these two teams.
Yeah, there's a nice little symmetry about it, isn't it? New South Wales and South Australia have been the best two teams in the competition going back to 2019. They are the two teams that have faced off in each of the grand finals for each of the Gilley Shield played since then. And they're going toe-to-toe, head-to-head. It seems to be New South Wales wins one, SA. New South Wales, SA. New South Wales over the course of the last two tournaments played here in Adelaide over the last 8 months.
Michelle Cox, the Olympian, takes the first pitch from Joanna Grauer. She was the starting pitcher in South Australia's victory over New South Wales last year. And she throws the first pitch ball. And these two teams just star-studded across the lineup, top to bottom. New South Wales, they come in, they're not the defending champions. That is South Australia. However, New South Wales look like the team to beat because no one's even scored a run against them through 5 games.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable performance by New South Wales. No runs against. Just emphatic.
Michelle Cox fouls this one away. Michelle Cox, part of that squad last year that came to South Australia, though she got hurt, as injuries do happen in this tournament. South Australia feeling some injuries to some key players as well. But Michelle Cox didn't play in that gold medal game, and that would have been a handy addition and maybe the difference that New South Wales needed in a 1-run loss and extra innings to South Australia.
Yeah, key player in the lineup. She's versatile as well. She can play anywhere in the outfield or come in to first base. And then a handy top order batter.
Michelle Cox having a great tournament as well already, and she's going to knock one to the outfield, charging onto it, diving in. Does she make the catch? She does! An unbelievable grab from Steph Trzynski in center field, and South Australia keeps a crucial base runner off the path.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a Texas leader, a chinker that's going to split the center fielder and the shortstop. She claims it early, Steph Trzynski, as she slides in on the elbows. Let's have a look at this angle. This would be a great one.
Oh!
He's happy with it too. Very positive start for the red team.
Stacey McManus up to bat, and it's a dangerous lineup. Let's play Are They an Olympian or Not as we read through this lineup. I'll quiz you, James. You tell me. It's a simple game. Are they an Olympian or not? How, you ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
Leading off, Michelle Cox.
Olympian.
Batting second, Stacey McManus.
Olympian.
Stacey Porter.
Multiple Olympian with an Olympic medal.
Taylor Titsakronis.
Olympian.
Rachel Lack.
Olympian.
Now, Bree Trim wasn't quite an Olympian, but
went on the trip.
Grace Rickson, no. Maybe a future Olympian.
No, potentially, yep.
Montana Kearns and Isabel Hanna. It's a star-studded lineup. Grace Rickson at batting at 7. She was the Rookie of the Year last year, and she is one of the leaders in RBIs in this tournament. She's got, we'll talk about when she gets up to bat, she is maybe the best possible position of any player in this tournament to bat number 7 behind 6 national team players. She gets to come up to base and they say, yeah, here's a few base runners for you to knock them in. She still has to knock them in, I get that, but I would like to bat 7 in this New South Wales lineup.
You'd have a little bit of confidence hitting 7 with those players playing in front of you because it's contagious, isn't it, hitting? You didn't mention the bench. Parnaby, Olympian, playing Olympian.
Oh, no, sorry about that. I got overwhelmed. It's a very good team. It's nearly, 7 players. That's almost a full team you could put out as a squad. It's almost the Australian national team playing in this game.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, well.
And they're backing it up.
They're not favorites for no reason, right?
They've outscored opponents 44-0. Stacey Porter batting after Stacey McManus, so the two Stacey's part of the lineup, and McManus has been excellent. That one tipped away. In the field for SA, Sarah Tonkin is catching. Belle White, the Olympian, at first base. Amber Hood at second. Chelsea Robinson has been spectacular at shortstop for the last 2 Gilley Shields now. Neve Adams at third. We'll talk about Neve in a second. Haley Benython at left. Steph Drzezinski, who made that catch at center, and Pippa Adkins at right. McManus on the ground, moving over, a nice backhanded play, and the SA defense standing up big time in the first inning.
Amber Hood breaking to her right, the backhand side, 2 bounces, takes it about belt height, has some time to plant that foot and throw across to Bell White. Good defense.
When you play New South Wales in this star-studded lineup, you have to make plays that take away base hits, and South Australia might have just done that on the first 2 batters of the game.
These two potentially not facing off for the first time because Yo Grau went across to the SummerSlam back in 2020, played for the Riot, and Stacey Porter's Panthers won that tournament. Haley Benython was in that team as well with Stacey Porter, but first time facing at the Gilley Shield between these two.
Stacey Porter up the middle. Now the shortstop getting a test, and it was never in doubt for Chelsea Robinson. Yo Grauer gets a 1-2-3 inning, limits New South Wales to nothing, and that is exactly the start that SA would have looked for.
Well, Grau is just one of those pitchers, isn't she? She's just a hard-working. She'll work the edges. She'll go in. She'll go up. She'll go down, and she'll go out. And on this occasion, she just got a little inside on Porter, which is dangerous because she really opens up her stance on her swing. She's got tremendous reach and power. But on this occasion, it was Grauer that got the better of the battle.
We expected these 2 teams to be the best 2 teams in the competition. That was the chat around the ballpark. If you ask the coach of New South Wales who the favorite is for the tournament, they will tell you that it is South Australia, if you ask New South Wales. If you ask the South Australian coach who the favorite is, they'll tell you it's New South Wales. Tremendous amount of respect for each other. They were so close last year in an epic, epic, epic grand final that I admittedly have turned on and rewatched a few times to get you pumped up in the day. But these 2 teams going head-to-head, and they're talented. So here's how New South Wales go defensively: an all-star outfield, Rachel Lack in left field, Michelle Cox in center, and Isabel Hanna in right field. The defense, Bree Trim has been making a case for maybe, if you were to name a team of the tournament, she's probably your third baseman with how well she has played. Stacey McManus at shortstop, highlight reel machine. Montana Kearns, the pride of Wagga Wagga, at second, and the GOAT, Stacey Porter, at first base. Taylor Titsakronis returns to the lineup after getting a game off. Her last game she played, she had an okay game. She hurt my feelings by not grabbing the cycle, but she did have a single, a triple, and 2 home runs.
Yeah, it might be enough just to pull her aside and have a quiet word to her.
Oh, yeah, say selfish.
Yeah.
No, she's a fun player to watch, Taylor Titsakronis, and one of the top 2 catchers in this country, Bell White being the other one. Both of them were Australia's catchers in the Olympics. And starting on the mound, the rising star of last year's tournament, who is no longer rising. The star is here. The star is born. 20-year-old Grace Rickson, right out of Newcastle, New South Wales. She's been dangerous with the bat. She's already pitched a couple innings this tournament. She's sort of number 5 on the pitching depth chart, but immensely talented 20-year-old in the circle.
Yeah, brilliant all-round player, isn't she? It's fun to watch her as well because she's always so calm and collected, and we love having her playing in the South Australian C-Max Premier League for the Hills Heat. In her couple of appearances, she dominated with bat and ball, so she's familiarised herself with this facility over the last 8 months.
Amber Hood up to bat. That's the advantage maybe that South Australia do have. They're trying to score. Before you talk about winning a game versus New South Wales, let's talk about scoring a run versus New South Wales, because they haven't allowed one yet. The advantage that South Australia may have here is the familiarity with Grace Rickson. They've seen her in the C-Max Premier League. They saw her a heap last year in the National Championship. So this whole batting lineup is familiar with the kind of stuff that Grace Rickson throws.
Yeah, in opens and under 23s. Last season, and then in the current season with the Hills Heat. But, you know, not too many people have been able to get a hold of her, but I think she may have given up a couple of runs here or there.
She's still difficult to get a hold of.
But she's got tremendous defense behind her. Outfield right in as well, keeping that pressure right on the South Australian batters. But Amber Hood out to a 2-0 start. Very patient batter, and rise ball Riseball, I think, on the first couple of pitches.
This is South Australia's batting lineup, and it's still a lineup that feels very fluid. You look at New South Wales, it feels kind of set. I don't know how much is going to change when the games matter, when they really do, how much is going to change. South Australia is still tinkering, playing around, looking for a magic formula. Now, they've got a lot of talented players. They're sitting at 4-1, and outside of a 7-0 loss versus New South Wales, the games haven't been all that close, to be totally honest. But now an injury to Lana Kaesler throws a wrinkle, and they're going to have to do. Still waiting on Kaesler's status, but she's not in the lineup for this game. I'll get you the lineup in a second. As Rickson deals to Amber Hood. And Hood flares one out to shallow, just over second base. Players fighting for it, and it is...
Oh, Kearns and Cox collide. And that collision causes chaos.
Still held on to the ball, though. Someone's just got to take command of that, but it was Montana Kearns' ball, so the out is retired. Haley Benithan batting second. She's been very impressive with the bat so far. Belle White, the Olympian, at third. Yo Grauer, the 4-year NCAA player, at 4. Georgia Hood, a college star right now in the States, batting 5. Sarah Tonkin, how was the game she had yesterday with 3 hits and that huge triple? Chelsea Robinson, the Netherlands pro softball player, at 7. Steph Trzynski, Aussie Spirit player, 2-time CAF Coral medalist, at 8. Are you kidding me? And Pippa Adkins, one of the young rising stars and an international representative before, at 9. This Stars lineup, they have an embarrassment of riches of players they could slot in the lineup, because you look at the bench, and that doesn't include players like Kaesler and Harris that aren't in this 9.
Yeah, it's great to see the two teams going head-to-head. On paper, they actually match up well. The first game was a blowout, but, you know, you'd say on their day either team could win. It was New South Wales Day a couple of days ago, 7-0.
And a tremendous story from rags to riches, for lack of a better word, for South Australia over the last decade. Before, it was more of an equation of how do we set a lineup that can just win a game at a Gilley Shield. Now they have a championship under their belt. They broke a 66-year curse, and there are legitimately superstar players that are left out of a starting 9.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I'm sure New South Wales have left some players behind as well, but you know, the likes of Letton and Cameron not being in this team as well, Collett, you know, all national champions. Millie Fidge last year, Haley Benithan swings a high one.
Maddie Scott, college players,
Maddie
like that.
Scott's about to come through. Jamie Mead was named but withdrew, so...
You could almost name a South Australian other squad and play this Stars team, and you would be like, who's going to win the game?
Yeah, except for maybe the pitching.
The pitching is the A team in this squad, yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure South Australia could find a better pitching lineup with the absence of Millie Fidge.
Yeah, you'd have to, for that South Australian B team, you'd have to go and get an import pitcher to probably round that out. Then you also have Fidge and an import pitcher, and you're saying, imagine if Jalen Ford was on that team.
Well, she's played for the Stars 3 times. Look at Monica Perry, played for the Stars 3 times as well.
Benithan battling away. Some plucky at-bats for South Australia versus New South Wales, who haven't allowed a run yet. But yeah. New South Wales and South Australia have sort of become the new gold standard on how to develop players. And South Australia, and credit to you, James, as well, with your role here, certainly punching above its weight in terms of population and just the sheer numbers of how to produce elite players.
More than 3 times the membership, New South Wales over South Australia, just in their state alone. Then you go and you talk about their history and their legacy, that they're just absolute machines when it comes to developing and producing players.
Well, Haley Benithan just had a very plucky at-bat versus Grace Rickson, and she gets aboard with a very hard-working walk. And Haley Benithan has been a nice little surprise packet on the national stage this tournament. Yeah,
she went away to college. She patiently waited for an offer for college, so it took her a couple of years to get there, and hasn't it paid dividends straight away? She was already good when she left, and now she's come back, like Maddie Scott. She's just come back unbelievably good.
Belle White up to bat. South Australia lost 7-0 to New South Wales in the first game of the tournament. They only had 1 hit and 1 walk. Those were the only base runners they had, and both of them were on Belle White at bats. How good has New South Wales been? Well, we know they haven't allowed a run. They've only had one moment in this entire tournament. 5 games, they've had one moment where a player has got past second base.
Was that loaded bases yesterday against Victoria?
It was off an error, yes. It is stunning numbers how dominant New South Wales have been, but you don't win tournaments in the first round. And everybody, including New South Wales, will know that. Bell White cracks one to left field, and they'll advance a runner in scoring position, and this is about as much pressure as New South Wales has been in all tournament, with 2 runners on and the 4-hitter coming up to bat.
Great shot from Belinda White. It was on the letters. She pulled the ball to left field. Good hard shot. She's got 2 hits against New South Wales, maybe the only player in the comp with multiple hits against the blue team. Rickson, I was just going to say, had thrown 14 pitches to that point to 2 batters. Oh, growler. Check swing. And it feels like she just really takes that full 20 seconds between pitches as well. Times by those 14 pitches, she's labouring a little bit. You know, no worries. Taylor Tsitsikronis comes out, calls timeout, has a bit of a chat to a young pitcher, but Belinda White, just a champion that she is, able to rip one to left field.
This is the start of game number 6. New South Wales yet to allow a run this tournament, in South Australia threatening early. Grauer up the middle, it's a base hit. Runner getting the wave around. Is this the run? There will be a play at the plate, sliding in. Safely, just safe. Hailey Benaithen gets the arm underneath, and South Australia have a lead.
RBI single to Yo Grau. Let's have a look at the Eastern replay. Michelle Cox, nothing she could do. Everything she did was right as Hailey Benaithen comes flying into home. Tsitsikronis doing her best effort to block the plate. Obstruction was the call from the plate umpire, but the hand was in there before the ball anyway.
What a slide from Hailey Benaithen. That's tough to run from center field on one of the best arms in Australia, but you have to take those chances, don't you, when you're playing a team like New South Wales? And for the first time in the tournament, New South Wales have allowed a run, and for the first time in the tournament, New South Wales are playing from behind. This is
South Australia lost a couple of runners at the plate last night, so Bill Benedictson may have had a little bit of nerves sending through Hailey on that occasion, but didn't show it.
Georgia Hood, the DP in this game. How old's Georgia Hood now?
21.
She has
22.
Been playing softball at the top level in South Australia since she was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
And she's been a star since she was 14 years old.
I was going to say, without much competition against her at the top of the tree, she's just has the power and ability and the smarts. And
we've been broadcasting games now for about 7 years in South Australia, and in our very first year there was a rookie named Georgia Hood, and she hit what, about 350 that year, had a couple home runs, slugged the ball all over the place, drove 5 hours each way to come to the games. She's been special to watch in this state for a long time.
We're going to get people commenting on this. 350, more like 450. She's never been below 400 in her career, I wouldn't say, at the Premier League.
It's stunning numbers, and you think back to a couple years ago when she was the ace of the Hills staff and with the bat. I mean, it was a good effort from Hills all around, but without Georgia Hood, there's no way Hills aren't in that grand final. She helped drag them through that final series.
Bat and ball.
Get bases loaded for Georgia, and she usually delivers, and she's got runners on first and second.
Well, there's that full 20 seconds that Rickson takes. Georgia Hood just says, all right, I'm just going to have to need a little spell here and get myself set again.
Hood playing at Pensacola right now in the United States. Swings that one up. She can get to that pitch. It's up in the air. Cox makes the play. They're thinking about sending the runner, but I think she would have been caught dead if she tried to go. Chases a high pitch. Almost got it.
Yeah, just a little under it more than anything there. Hood, just some of the news coming out of the SA camp is that Georgia Hood's been the unluckiest batter in this competition so far. She's hit the fence on the full twice. She got caught on the fence last night. And on this occasion, she just gets under one a little. So
it feels it's a matter of when and not if those start to fall for Georgia Hood.
Yeah, Pensacola, the fences are in a little closer. So 230 feet here at West Beach, 220 at Blacktown. So if we were at another venue, she may have had a couple already for the tournament.
Sarah Tonkin batting at number 6 today, and Tonkin had a very nice game in South Australia's first game of the day yesterday.
Rickson again. She's very composed in her delivery. I don't think there's anything wrong. They're just having a little chat there, Titsakronis and Rickson. Maybe the signal's over at second base. Tonkin calls time and just wants to get reset again. And so Titsakronis uses that time to speak to Rickson. I'm going to do my best impersonation of Lee Hull. Hopefully we'll see him tomorrow. Left field is out of position here. Tonkin's going to rip this down the line.
Tonkin, notoriously a pull hitter. Takes a pitch, and her hit yesterday versus ACT really was the moment that sort of opened that game up for South Australia.
Yeah. Brig Trim comes down the line as well at third, so really opening up that gap between or down the left field line.
Chillingworth running at first, and she's got some wheels, so if it does go down the line, look out for Chillingworth. She goes that direction, and it takes a hop. It's going to load the bases, and exactly what you said, James. She just missed it, but it does squeak through.
Yeah, nice shot from Tonkin. Catch it, speed up. We'll see another runner come in. So Amber Hoods running for the catcher and Taylor Chillingworth running for the pitcher. Here's a look at the Eastern replay.
Bases all of a sudden are loaded, and there are 2 outs, and Chelsea Robinson, another Aussie Spirit player, comes to the plate. A circle your scorecard moment early in this game. We've seen New South Wales with 2 outs, bases loaded, 2 runners on, time and time again in this tournament deliver a big 2-out hit that opens up ball games. This is South Australia's chance to inflict the same damage on the inflictors.
Yeah, Chelsea Robinson batting down the order a little from what she's used to batting for a Walkerville Cats Premier League team, but just on the official score, looking to my left, Jim Giles has a green pen out for Sarah Tonkin, so 3 hits in the inning.
Yeah, that would have been a spectacular play from one of either Trim or McManus to bring that ball in. Robinson just looking for that base hit. Ball on the outside. How many pitches is Grace Rickson up to now?
Yeah, I'm just about to check. 26 pitches now in the first inning. This may be New South Wales' longest inning of the tournament so far.
And the only inning that anyone scored anything off of them.
Low for a ball, and South Australia really want to capitalise on their opportunities here, because, you know, New South Wales are a champion team, a team full of champions, and if you're not taking advantage of every opportunity that you can, they'll come back and hurt you later in the game. Titsakronis asked if that was a swing. There was no way that was a swing on the Eastern replay. Timeout called for Grace Rickson, I think.
We talked to all the coaches before the tournament, and the overwhelming response of the other coaches' opinion of South Australia is you don't want to give them a big moment, because more often than not, they deliver in it.
Change up for Rickson. Yeah, I think with the runners onto the battery are just having a little trouble with their signal pattern, because Rickson seems to be waiting and waiting.
Robinson to the outfield. Cox should make the play, and she does, but South Australia score the first run of the tournament off New South Wales, and New South for the first time have to play with a little bit of adversity in the tournament.
Yeah, but you know what? They weren't bad in the field. There was a little bit of miscommunication between centre and second. Cox has taken 2 pretty good catches. She was in the play a fair bit, because Yo Grauer's ball was hit straight to her. She had to throw home as well. It was a tight play at the plate as well.
It took inches to score the first run against New South Wales, and South Australia were able to take what very few inches were given to them.
And then they denied South Australia. Like I said, left them with their bases loaded. with that third out.
Well, New South Wales did what other teams have struggled to do against New South Wales, and that's limit the big inning. New South Wales constantly pressure on the base paths, and more often than not, they bring them home. If teams can just limit that damage and keep themselves in longer, every single game New South Wales has played. Remember, they had the 4-run inning that led to a Mercy Rovers SA. Then New South Wales versus ACT, they had a 4-run inning and a 3-run shot to chase that game in the last 2. Versus Queensland, they had the 3-run inning. Versus New South Wales, they had, or versus WA, they had the 8-run inning. Versus Victoria, they had a 5-run inning. The big inning has just been what the killer has been for teams versus New South Wales.
Well, it's going to be on the Stars to make sure that that doesn't happen, but if you take yourself back 8 months to the 74th Gilley Shield Grand Final, it was toe-to-toe, blow for blow, 5-6 lead changes, and neither team had the massive blowout inning.
When these teams are at their best, and both teams bring their best to the diamond at the same time, you get one hell of a softball game.
Well, Grauer and Taylor Chitsakronis have got some history going back to that grand final. Chitsakronis went long ball and just put a charge into one, and the excitement around the venue was massive after that hit. It seemed like after that hit, it changed the course of the game in favour of South Australia.
Chitsakronis hard hit ball, takes a funny hop off Neve Adams, and Adams is in some strife. Drops the glove, and Wintz is in pain. That was an absolute rocket shot. I think it's going to be scored as a hit.
Well, it's not called the hot corner for nothing. That ball was a blur as
It's going to be an error scored. Hard hit ball, but right at Adams.
An error.
Yeah, red pen is out. That is a rocket shot right at Adams. That's got to sting a little bit off the arm. And South Australia, that'd be the last thing they want to see. They've already seen their starting third basewoman go down with an injury in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm just looking around the card to see who else is potential third base player. Hayley Benithan, even Chelsea Robinson could move over. Sarah Tonkins played third base a bit as well. So I reckon they've got a Sophie Roberts plays corner.
They've got so many infield options. It's the outfield options that South Australia is looking for right now.
Here's Rachel Lack, another home run hitter for the New South Wales team.
Yeah, Rachel Lack's hit a home run versus South Australia in this tournament. She's hit a home run versus South Australia that gave New South Wales a championship a few years ago. She likes hitting homers versus SA.
She's gone up the handle a couple of times. She's waiting to get one to bunt to advance Chitsakronis over to second, and with their blowout wins in every game they've played so far, they haven't had many opportunities to play small ball, so they're going to have to take these opportunities while they can get them. SA infield should be on their toes. Won't be small ball now with 2 strikes.
Rachel Lack has some wheels too.
Another player seeing Grauer for the first time. Great pickup. That bounced before the plate.
Grauer's been a bit of a missing ingredient in the South Australian softball scene on so many different levels. A 4-year NCAA star at a Division I program in UCLA. Not just an import that came over here and came for 1 year. She's an import that came over here and stayed and said, this is my home, moved here, going for that permanent residency, lives not just in Adelaide, but in country South Australia. Helped Port Adelaide win their first ever premiership, and then helped South Australia win their first Gilley Shield in 66 years.
It's a great story, isn't it? Yeah. She went to the Riverland to extend her visa the first time round, picking almonds.
It's an amazing story.
I think she still works for the same place, just in another division.
Not picking the almonds. But you always felt like with the Stars, they were so close for so many years. They were just missing that little something. And that something may have been Yo Grauer. It's a walk.
Well, that's a terrific battle. And obviously South Australia had a plan against Lack, and that was do not put it anywhere in the strike zone, because she would just open up the hands and smash it. So they were down, down, down for those last few pitches.
Keep it out of the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Bree Trim, another player you have to be mindful of. Spent 4 years with Victoria. In fact, she was the Victorian captain last year despite being from New South Wales, and led that team in batting. Now is back.
And all the way to third place as well. Oh, look at taking Titsakronis. Tonkin took her eye off Titsakronis for 1 second. She took a couple of cheeky steps towards third, but in comes Steph Trzynski from centre field to cover. Well, we spoke of blowout innings just moments ago. First two batters aboard. An error from third and a base on ball. So South Australia defence really needs to step up here.
They made a couple big plays in the first inning. That diving catch from Trzynski and a nice backhanded play from Amber Hood, and they're going to need the same here. Bree Trim had that 3-for-4 game yesterday versus WA on this field. She can absolutely smash the ball. It's one of the reasons that she got a serious look at making that Olympic squad. Grounds it up the middle. Grauer gets the lead runner at 3, and that's all they'll get, but an important lead runner retired.
Titsakronis didn't slide, made the teenager from South Australia earn this play here as she went fishing for the base a little bit as well.
Well, Grace Rickson has had a heck of a tournament. Here's how she's done in her 4 games she's played so far. Game 1, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs. Game 2, 2 for 3. Game 3, 2 for 3, 4 RBIs. Game 4, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. She's also pitched, and pitched well.
Putting together a hell of a tournament, Grace Rickson.
She gets to bat right behind that slew of national team players and say in front of Australian selectors, hey, you know what?
Hello. It's spelled W-R-I-X-O-N.
An amazing tournament.
She was jammed there and still had the bat speed to push it hard to the right side.
Last year before the tournament, we talked to Carrie Porter, and she called her shots. She said, watch Grace Rickson. She could be the breakout player of the tournament. I think she needed to change the could be to will be.
Look at her grip. It's slightly split, isn't it?
Hard hit ball over to Robinson. She gets one. They couldn't make the double play, but that's okay. It's 2 outs and 2 well-fielded balls from the South Australian infield.
Fielder's choice to Grauer, fielder's choice to Robinson. And that's great defense, because these players only train together. They don't play together. They play against each other. So it's really good to see the chemistry there between the South Australian infield, able to play a lead runner. There's runners at the corners, but there's importantly 2 out for South Australia.
And I know she's playing first base, but the player that just called in everybody to that circle there was Belle White at first, and she was the one that was doing the talking in that circle.
Yeah, she's one of the longest serving captains in South Australian state history.
One of the greatest athletes in South Australian sports history, period. Montana Cairns.
Can hit a ball. She was important in the final, had an RBI, just tagged out going for an extra base.
Her pop Simo and Nan Gladdy, who's 96 years old, watching in Walgett right now, and she's got a big moment ahead of her with a 1-3 split. Swing at a ball that just dropped down low, and you saw that in the Premier League finals last year. When Grauer gets that ball to drop low, she needs that catcher there that can handle it, but that is a bread and butter pitch.
That's what she was trying to pitch against Rachel Lack. It was down, down, down.
And goes up high with a big strikeout. So New South Wales have runners in first and second with nobody out. And South Australian defense and pitching, powered by Grauer, gets them out of the jam.
Let's have a look at this one. She was going down. As I was saying that, then one comes up and way out of the zone above the letters. So Kern seeing that kicker from Grauer for the first strikeout.
Well, James,
of the game.
battle between the top two teams. Other teams in factor here. Teams trying to clinch a spot maybe today, early tomorrow in that 1-2 game, the double chance game. What are the standings right now? What is the state of play?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 5 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins, 2 wins, 1 win. With New South Wales sitting top of the table. South Australia with the 4 wins, only beaten by New South Wales. Queensland with the 3 wins, only beaten by South Australia. New South Wales. WA with 2 wins, beaten by the 3 teams above them. Victoria with the 1 win, beaten by the teams above them. The runs against, though, you see, it's pretty tight between SA and Queensland, just 5 runs separating them. And then the race for that final 4th position. WA have the highest runs against, but they sit in 4th on 34. Victoria with the lowest runs against for the bottom 3 teams with 29, just 5 runs separating those 3 teams, with ACT smack in the middle, 32. ACT have a couple of upset wins in this round. They could push through and into the top 4. Time will tell. Some big games today. ACT will face Queensland, New South Wales. Victoria face SA, WA in Queensland. That one is the big one. Queensland, Victoria. Back to Grace Rickson, and here's Steph Trzynski to lead things off.
2-time Cath Coral medalist, Steph Trzynski, to you, sir.
Yeah, back-to-back and reigning 2-time Cath Coral medalist, and not bad considering she was 4 years overseas at college, and I think it was really 2 half seasons.
And this is a big shot to left field. Lack moving back. Trzynski sending one off the top of the wall. It's a double, maybe a triple. That's what it'll be. It'll be a 2-bagger. But Steph Trzynski needed 1 more rep at the gym, and that would have been gone.
1 more rep at Sam's gym as she hits this hard, and it does rattle off the wall on the full. Steph Trzynski has put them deep before. You called that home run derby, where it was just smooth swinging home run after home run in that home run derby that she had. Pippa Atkins comes up and Trzynski on 2. Yeah, well, you and I were talking before the show, what's the best SA lineup? And Trzynski was teetering there, wasn't she? You can't leave her out. She's just
well, I mean, Steph no doubt
game winner.
is at their best when everything is on the table. If everyone's bringing their absolute A game, Steph is probably South Australia's ace. No disrespect to Yo Grauer, who has some incredible stuff too. The question is do you have her as both? And that's why maybe the answer is yes. And a bunt down the line, and it just goes foul. That was so close to being brilliant from Pippa Atkins.
Yeah, it looked okay off the bat, but then it sort of, I don't know, maybe it hit a tuff of dirt or something like that, and then it's just rolled to the foul line. It was going to be safe because she was on her bike. She was quick up the line. Now have a look at the New South Wales defense right off the end of the bat almost.
On Trzynski, let's not forget the diving play she made on the first out of the game in center field.
Yeah, I remember her coming through as a junior. She was on teams with some international imports. She was on a team with Vanessa Stokes, and so she had to play other positions, and she was a very good infielder. Now we see her playing a little bit of outfield with West Torrens, her club team, because Harper Bridley makes the trip from Port Pirie to play on the weekends, and she loves it. She loves being freed up from that pitching circle.
Atkins to outfield, charging on his Cox. That drops in. But Steph Trzynski had to stay at second, and I think Cox and Trzynski were playing a bit of cat and mouse in the outfield with Steph standing on second. But just like New South Wales had in the top of the second, South Australia have runners on first and second, no outs.
Well, she was willing to put her body on the line earlier, but this time she decides to let it bounce. Trzynski, yeah, in 2 minds whether to go or not, because she didn't know whether or not Cox was going to dive for that play. Consecutive hits in this inning make it 5 from the first 9 batters, also with a base on balls.
It's one of those awkward moments as a center fielder, because if Cox dives and makes that play and catches, it's a great out. If she dives and misses and the ball gets behind her, Steph Trzynski scores. Perhaps the best course of action is exactly what Michelle Cox did right there. Let it drop in front of you and just try to get out of the bases.
Limit the damage, yeah. However, it turns it around to the top of the order.
Amber Hood and Haley Benithan. And Grace Rickson's pitch count starting to work up too. You'd find it hard to see her being able to go the distance in the game with the amount of pitches she's gone. And New South Wales would have liked to hide some of their top pitchers as long as they can. They're going to have to reveal one of them at some point. They already pitched Parnaby and Plain, who diced up South Australia in game number 1. I would love to see Kendra Lamb back out here. She's fun to watch from New South Wales too. Nothing down the line. Yeah,
no action in the bullpen, and through the little hidey hole I can see Gabby Plain. She's got the big jacket on. It's not that cold, but it's got a breeze about it here today.
It's like 38 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Hood showing bunt, eases off. South Australia certainly making New South Wales work hard in this game.
Yeah, she's nearly up around 40 pitches now, Rickson, one time through the lineup.
Well, yeah. With how enthralling these first 2 innings have been, you really do hope that the softball gods line up and give everybody a New South Wales, South Australia meaningful game on the final day of the tournament, whether that be in the preliminary final, the grand final, the 3-4 final, the 1-2, wherever it comes up. Just give me a game with these teams on Friday in any capacity.
If New South Wales came out here and blanked South Australia again, we'd all be thinking it's New South Wales. By how much?
South Australia don't necessarily need to win this game, but they need to show something versus New South Wales in this game.
Yeah, it'll be a small win. Even if they don't win this game, if they show something, they put a couple runs on the board, it's a small win. And those little wins will build up as the week progresses.
Left the bases loaded with 1 out in the first inning and now have runners on first and second and no outs in the second. So they're putting themselves in winning positions. But it's all well and good to get yourself in a position. Can you bring the cart home?
Amber Hood has shown bunt every pitch of this at-bat. It's full count now.
And it's a walk from Amber Hood. And with no outs and Haley Benithan, an in-form hitter, up to bat. It is a big opportunity here for the South Aussies.
Yeah, again, I'll look to my right to have a look at the New South Wales bullpen. Are they playing a little cat and mouse and saying, no, Grace, you're going to throw this entire game no matter what? Backing their field, backing their batting lineup to either have it as a shootout or to be able to defend. They left runners, bases loaded, 3 runners on board last inning. Can they do it again this inning?
Pitch up high. Yeah, it's an interesting point you make, is when do you start that managerial kind of games, for lack of a better word, and how you navigate through a tournament, knowing that you need to shovel an evolving piece of puzzles getting to the final day. Bases loaded, Haley Benithan.
Well, they've got the depth. Parnaby, Plain, Lamb, Ladner, all on the bench at the moment.
Their hitting lineup, though, is about as strong as they can present. Well, if they get through Benithan, don't forget who's standing on deck.
White, Grauer, Hood.
Such a crucial out right here for Grace Rickson in New South Wales. Something shallow, something on the dirt is almost necessary, or a strikeout at 1-2.
We're going 42 minutes in this game. We're only bottom of the second with none out.
Swing and a miss, and that's massive from Grace Rickson.
Her first strikeout of the game, and it comes with loaded bases and none out.
Now, 42 minutes, James, you say we've got in this game, but every single minute has been captivating.
High quality softball It's taken 45 pitches for Rickson to get her first strikeout in the game.
Belle White, South Australia's only Olympian on that last team. Takes a pitch.
On the inside. Called strike. Asked the blue. Is that at the top of the zone there, I think, was the question.
When South Australia needed a moment last Gilley's Shield, the captain came coming. Delivered in every way you could ask. And she's gonna do it again. Oh, a great play! There's one! There's two! Unbelievable! What a double play! Cairns, McManus, Porter, New South Wales out of the jam.
Looked like it was going up the middle. Here's the Eastern replay. Kearns with the momentum going up to the middle. Has to change direction.
It was all Montana Cairns. I apologize. That was unbelievable from Montana Cairns. And South Australia load the bases, nobody out, and New South Wales go strikeout, double play, and it's 1-0.
Unbelievable. Here's another look. It looked up the middle and in that center right alley. Kearns
I called it as a base hit.
Reaches out with everything she has. Amber Hood forced out, and then very close play. And maybe New South Wales got away with one there.
Let's see it again. We'll be quiet. And you tell us.
You could, Porter was pumped with that play.
What a play from Montana Cairns. Yep. What a throw. How's the stretch from Porter?
That is as tight as they come. And again, we said it last night, we've got the advantage of the super slow-mo.
James, this is why I'm a big fan of, if it's possible, and I know it's not going to happen, I'm not trying to put this in the gods, I'm just using this for a discussion point. I would love to see some sort of video replay for the big games like in the grand final. Now, that might have been out. It very well may have. I could not, looking at that, I could not have overturned the umpire's call. I think it would have stood. However, on those close 50-50 plays, you don't want games decided by those little moments.
Yeah, there's a couple of people within the softball community that are campaigning to utilise the technology that we have here at our advantage during the 75th Gilley Shield, but
I understand there's nuances.
It's not going to happen because we probably don't have enough camera angles, and yeah, you'd probably need a full-time staff member right on the technology.
Yeah, totally
as well.
agree. But what is fascinating is Isabel Hanna's up to bat. What is really encouraging to see, when you walked into the ballpark this morning, you walked into that room, you had scorers looking at little stills and screenshots and moments from the games that were on camera. You had umpires that had a whole email of saying, not just reviewing calls, but it was, hey, you were positioned here. What if we positioned you over here going forward on this call? And you had teams using it for scouting reports on players. People are using the video footage and the great coverage that Spacequake Sports has as a tool to make their teams better, to make the umpires better, to make the scorers better, to make the game better. So I hope people are finding it useful in so many different ways.
Yeah, well, it's not just a promotional tool for the sport, is it? To bring it to
thousands of people.
Yeah, bring it to the people. I was just going to let you...
Yeah, strikeout for Joe Grauer, second strikeout of the day, second straight one. She had Cairns to end the last inning and Isabel Hanna to start this one.
And, you know, we've never denied anyone the access to it either. You know, it's always been a tool that we've been able to provide to teams, clubs, coaches, different states. I remember getting messages when we did our state team showcase from a Victorian coach to say, thank you for playing the under-17s versus under-19 game. We're using it as a tool to scout your opposition. Do it.
You're welcome.
If you think we're that much of a threat, come and use it as a tool. We don't mind. This is softball. We're bringing it to the people, and it brings me so much joy that I get a message to say congratulations on the coverage. And you know, we've been doing this for 7 years, and
Well, the reach numbers have been astounding. Now, reach is different than views, I get it, but you take a look at some of the broadcasts reaching 20,000 people last night in the broadcast. Per game. That's per game, yeah.
We were able to talk about this because there's a pitching change. It looks like a planned change. Johanna Grauer has pitched through 1 through 9, allowing 2 on base. It was an error from the third base and a base on balls. 2 strikeouts, 9 batters faced. In comes Georgia Hood. She's going through her warm-ups. Let's talk more about this reach.
I'm just going through the lowest reach I've just seen going back to the game yesterday. The lowest reach I've seen so far is 14,800 people. That's the lowest reach around the country.
And without this live stream broadcast, your reach is probably the 500, 600 people that we've got in attendance at the ground.
Yeah, probably. That's literally exactly on the nose. So reaches, I mean, you take a look at the Victoria South Australia game from the other day. That had a reach of 24,000 people. It had, over 5,000 views.
Well, the first game...
That's just on Facebook. That doesn't include YouTube.
First game of the tournaments, Facebook videos alone, nearly at about 10,000. That was the viewership of the under-23 grand final that we played just a couple of weeks ago. But 7 years of bringing Spacequake Sports to the people, it was over 8 million Facebook videos alone. That doesn't include NITV or Channel 44 TV coverage. It doesn't include YouTube videos as well. It's or SBS on demand.
Yeah, that's just from that one platform. And I was looking at the analytics the other day. It was over in the last month, just on that page alone through the broadcast, over 200,000 in reach, unique reach over the last month.
Yeah, the insights that you can get from the social media platforms are terrific.
Georgia Hood now on the mound. A very nice start from Yo Grauer. Again, they don't want to. South Australia know they're going to have to play New South Wales again later in the tournament. Yo Grauer probably going to be a piece of that puzzle. Don't want to show Yo too much. Georgia Hood over to Robinson, scoops, fires, and a key out.
Good play from Chelsea Robinson. Belinda White just reaches up a little bit, but there was no problem there. Couple of pitches, first out.
That's a nice start.
6-3 is a look on the Eastern replay. Yeah, so the plan with Grauer, we'll flash Grauer to New South Wales, and we'll give him a look, but then we're going to take her out.
I mean, you can't hide everybody. South Australia already saw Parnaby and Plain in game number 1, who are probably New South Wales, number 1 and 2. Stacey McManus now up to bat. She grounded out her first at-bat on a spectacular play from Amber Hood. And Georgia Hood was the pitcher that was in the circle when New South Wales had that getaway mercy rule inning to beat South Australia 7-0 in the 5th inning in game number 1 between these teams. Right now, the story is, though, South Australia lead 1-0, but in the first 2 innings, they've left 6 runners on base. You can do the math. I don't think it's mathematically possible to have more.
You cannot have any more after 2 innings of work.
So will those chances go by the wayside? Well, they already have, but will they rue those chances later in the game? Stacey McManus. Hard hit ball right back to Amber Hood, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. It took Grauer and Hood to get through it, but New South Wales, they threatened in the second. They had runners on first and second. South Australia got out of a jam. New South Wales not pressuring the same way South Australia is right now.
I'm going to circle back to the end of the bottom of the second inning in that double play. Well, one of the absolute legends of the game has spoken, and so it'll be the last
Lee Hull?
Bigger than Lee Hull. So it'll be the last thing we say on it. World Baseball Softball Confederation Hall of Famer, Softball Australia Hall of Famer, Softball SA Hall of Famer, Olympic umpire
J-Mac?
John McAuliffe. Umpire judgment has been a part of the game forever. No one gets them all right. Play on.
I love it. J-Mac, thank you for coming through. J-Mac loves it. He's been watching all of it.
And Al Mac, yeah, they both absolute legends of the game and the sport. And
but on that play, Montana Cairns, backhanded play, runs to the bag, changes weight, throws to first. Stacy Porter reaches out and goes to the ball to bring it in. That is world-class play from Cairns, world-class play from Porter, and Belle White did everything that you thought she could. I was calling it as she's going to deliver again, but it was just robbed from a great defensive play from New South Wales. And that's all you love to see in a game of softball. You want to see one team's best get beaten by the other team's best.
Deadly combination over on the right side.
Well, Montana Cairns, she has been fun to watch the last couple tournaments. Yo Grauer leads things off for South Australia in the bottom part of the third. Takes a pitch down low.
RBI single in the first, scoring Benithan, diving into the plate.
And just small margins in this game across the board. Grace Rickson still in the circle. This is a double-header day for New South Wales. So how much do you want to keep your players fresh and in the game? Is that important that every pitcher gets at least an inning of work at some point today?
That's an excellent point. Is there going to be pitchers that get the whole day off today so that they can have that rest going into their 3-game day tomorrow?
Or do you just want to give them a, whet their appetite a little bit and just say, hey, Gabby, you're coming on for 1 inning of work and 1 inning of work only. It doesn't matter what happens. You can give up 15. You can strike out the side, whatever happens. Or do you ride players like Ladner and Rickson?
Well, maybe there's a little bit of strategy in this from the New South Wales dugout, because it's Ladner that's going to warm up in the bullpen. The 2 players that have a handful of games each in the C-Max Premier League here in the local South Australian competition.
Yeah. And I loved from a great conversation I've had with a big league player named Josh Spence, a big league pitcher. He's from Australia, made it all the way to the big leagues. He was a big league pitcher, not because he could overpower stuff, but because he played with batters. He had some funky stuff. And he said you earn the right to play around. And Yo Grauer cracks one to left field. It's another leadoff hit for South Australia. But what I mean by that is you earn the right to throw a ball. You have to throw strikes first. You earn the right to play around. New South Wales, they're 5-0 through their own great work and their fantastic performance through the first 2 days of the tournament. They've earned the right to play a little bit of games, to hide some players, to give some players some rest, to play with lineups, to look for that formula. It's all because of their great work. They've earned the right to play a little bit on these next 2 days.
Yeah, and that's the privilege of being the top team, isn't it? You assert your dominance early in the tournament, and then you can bring in your players that might not have had much game time to play them into some form in case you need them in the big game or in the final. And but to New South Wales' credit, it only looks like they're pitching, with no disrespect to Grace Rickson, because she's a great young player, but Parnaby and playing, they're at another level.
Yeah, they're some of the world's best.
Right. So they're still playing their best team.
Their lineup, yeah. South Australia trying to do that. A couple wins today puts them almost on the cusp of clinching a 1-2 spot. That game versus Queensland is going to be absolutely massive tomorrow. But South Australia will be looking to sweep the day. If they can win all 3 today, they earn the right to play tomorrow.
Yeah, play around, and like you just said, give players 14
Rest.
to 16 on the lineups and game timer. But your top 4 or 5 players get a break as well.
Georgia Hood to the outfield, and for the second straight inning, South Australia have runners on first and second and nobody out. South Australia has now had every player but one reach base today, and we're only in the 3rd inning.
And she'll come up in this inning as well. Just reaches her hands out on an outside pitch and just drives it opposite field. Isabel Hanna does pretty well to get to it. Her teammate at Pensacola, and Johanna Grauer advances to 2.
How clutch has Sarah Tonkin been over the last 5 years of her softball career? Tonkin showing bunt, she lays it down. It's a good one. She's gonna hustle down the line. She put a bit of pressure on the throw from Bree Trim, but job done from Sarah Tonkin to move 2 runners in scoring position for the Team Australia star Chelsea Robinson.
Great bunt. Sacrifice by definition. Bree Trim, the throw's low, but it's still on the full. So good play. You heard bunt audible from the New South Wales defense before the ball went down, so they knew where to move. It's good to see. Here's Robinson.
Robinson got a good piece of it in her last at-bat. She had bases loaded and 2 outs. It flew out to Michelle Cox in center field. She saw the ball well. Needs to drive something here. South Australia, relentless pressure. Bases loaded in all innings except this one. And now another cracking shot. Does it find a gap? It does. It's going to score 2. Chelsea Robinson round second. She stumbles over the bag, has to get back, and she's called out. So a late slip from Robinson is going to be the second out, but crucially, South Australia score 2.
2 RBIs off the bat of Robinson, and there you go, Eric. Each of the 9 starters have reached base. This one rattles off the wall. Rachel Lack throws it in to the cutoff. McManus, she sees that Robinson is on the ground and she dives back. She slips around her second step off of second base. There's Grauer, who scores the first run. Around comes Georgia Hood to score again. They both liked it off the bat.
2 outs. Bases clear for Steph Trzynski, who went off the wall in her first at-bat.
All 3 of the runs earned as well. So the first 3 runs of the tournament against New South Wales, and they make the teams earn their runs, don't they?
It's 3-0, and it honestly could be more. Easily could be more. It took some unbelievable defensive plays from New South Wales to limit the damage. Feels a little bit like a thumb over a garden hose right now, right? We've used this analogy before, but New South Wales, South Australia is the hose. New South Wales have their thumb on that hose. There's been a couple leaks here and there, but they prevented that big explosion.
Yeah, they need to put a kink in it.
Yeah.
Well, there's been 4 batters, 2 outs and 2 runs. Every batter contributing in this inning so far. Single to Grauer, single to Hood, sacrifice bunt to Tonkin, a 2 RBI double from Robinson. Batting at 7. You said it was Rickson batting at 7 who might be the best 7 hitter in the comp.
Well, Chelsea Robinson, how are you?
Putting a hand up.
And while Rickson at 7 seems like a very static thing right now for New South Wales, the batting order for South Australia up until this point in the tournament has been constantly fluid.
Yeah, it's able to change as well, because a like for like can be entered in at any time. You've got speed to burn on the bench as well.
There's also versatility. As Trzynski up the middle, McManus. Boy, she makes not so easy plays look like you could do it in your sleep.
She moved across to her left, and watch this. She's got her glove out the whole time, reading the bounce really well. This diamond is notorious for a rough bounce, particularly on the second, but she kept her eye on it, which if you could freeze that frame, you would see that she watched the ball the entire way into the glove. And if any coach is out there wanting to show their kids an example of how to do it, that's how it's done.
So a 3-0 lead for South Australia. They scored their first run on an RBI from Yo Grauer. Haley Benithan just slid in the first inning to score the first run versus New South Wales in the tournament. South Australia had 2 outs, bases loaded, left them loaded. In the second inning, it was bases loaded, nobody out. Huge strikeout from Grace Rickson on Haley Benithan. And then Bell White grounds into a double play, but that's underselling it. It was a fantastic play at second from Montana Cairns to move on the base, throw out the runner at first, bases left loaded again. South Australia finally cracks through with Chelsea Robinson's 2 RBI double to put them up 3-0. Meanwhile, 2 1/3 innings pitched for Yo Grauer. She pitches 1 through 9 in the lineup, gets taken out of the game, and now in the circle is Georgia Hood. Had her first 2 outs versus Cox and McManus. She starts the 4th in the circle for South Australia, and you're all caught up.
You are caught up. 17 batters or plate appearances for South Australia, 7 hits, 2 walks. Stacey Porter comes to the plate, hitting 3 for New South Wales. You want to put a little bit of insurance in front of New South Wales. You want to do it the inning before Porter comes to the plate. You got Porter, Tizikronis, Lack to come.
And Hood up to bat, and a crucial hold right here for South Australia. If they can get New South Wales down quickly with Porter, Titsakronis, Lack, and Trim, it delays when they get another appearance later in the game, and you have to deal with, although you have to deal with Rickson, Cairns, and Hannah, who are having great tournaments, you'd rather face them than McManus, Porter, and Titsakronis. Fair?
Yeah, well, I got nothing else to add to that.
Yeah. Stacey Porter, the absolute GOAT of Australian softball.
World softball.
World softball. She'd be in a very short list of players for the best ever. Plays professionally in Japan, and she's going to walk and be on first base.
Yeah, leadoff walk for Porter. I mean, she's a tremendous athlete and super smart base runner as well. She's got a bit of pace on those old legs as well, but
saw a big base running moment yesterday, though, when she was on first. Then she was kind of caught in a trap, and she used her smarts to get out of it, force the throw elsewhere, and end up on second base. Taylor Titsakronis, one swing of the bat. This is a one-run game.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that if you could pick an outcome, Stacey Porter, a leadoff walk, you'd probably take it.
It's better than a lot of other things that Stacey Porter can do to you. Stacey Porter's caused a lot of hurt to a lot of opposing pitchers in her career.
You know, the name is intimidating enough, but then you see her presence on diamond. She's taller than every other player on the field.
For such a nice woman, she's been very mean to pitchers. Porter and Titsakronis, just absolute rock stars of this game. Titsakronis yesterday, single, triple, 2 home runs, 4 for 4, all in one game versus WA. Look how deep left field is playing as well.
Yeah, right up against the Dental for School sign. Center field's deep as well.
Right back. Can they get one? They get one. Can they turn two? It's a double play. Taylor Titsakronis grounds into a double play. Both of Australia's top 2 catchers have now grounded into double plays with runners on in this game.
Yeah, amongst their team's best batters, Hood's a terrific fielder, particularly off her own pitching. And Titsakronis didn't finish her swing, so Hood had the presence of mind. Robinson was following the ball up the middle, so she was Johnny on the spot.
Some huge moments in this game, James, defensively for South Australia. They've set the tone right away. First inning, diving catch from Steph Trzynski in center field. Second inning, runners on first and second, nobody out. A couple fielders' choices from some really nice defensive plays, and now this double play. Gee, James, I think when we do our little Sports Center recaps, I'm going to need you to stick around with me while we do this one together. This is going to be a this might have to be a 3-hour highlight package. Just watch the game.
Just watch the game back.
Just watch the game back.
The highlight package is the game.
Where do you even start? Rachel Lack. She walked in her first at-bat. Well, South Australia trying to even the ledger at the top of the table. Appreciate everybody tuning in and joining us from around the country. Love to see the viewer numbers climb on YouTube and Facebook. This is a great game to watch. You feel like New South Wales still have a charge in them and half the game to go. So share it with your friends. Get this game around the country. Let's go, folks.
You're never going to write them off, are you?
Lack, left field. Just missing it is Haley Benaithen in left field. Now Rachel Lack can get on her bike and run around second. Lack with a play coming up at third will slide in safely. It's a triple to Rachel Lack.
First hit of the ball game for New South Wales. It's off the bat of Rachel Lack. It only just misses the glove of Benaithen, who has to hunt it down right up against the fence.
And how big is that double play looking? Just the batter before now.
Run-saving double play for South Australia, and Rachel Lack moves across to third base.
Bree Trim out on a fielder's choice in her first at-bat. Takes a pitch down low. South Australia have pressured all game long, and now New South Wales have a runner at third for the second time today. It's been Rachel Lack both times. She is the South Australian killer. She's the eater of crow eaters.
Yeah, Lack has developed a reputation for breaking the hearts of thousands of South Australians. Year in, year out. Another missing piece of the puzzle from New South Wales last year.
Cracking shot to center field. Leaping up is Steph Trzynski. A second really nice play in center field. Maddie who?
She was here watching last night, Maddie
I'm just
Cameron.
kidding. We love Maddie Cameron.
And, well, we were talking before. We were saying, you know, to bolster that outfield. And Steph Trzynski's just plucked that one. She read it pretty well off the bat. It was hit so well. So it would have been coming at a rate of knots. South Australia deny New South Wales after a couple of opportunities, didn't they? The lead-off walk, then the triple from Lack.
Don't forget they had runners on first and second, no out in the second inning. It's been a story of both teams have taken runs off the board. It feels like the runs scored to opportunity ratio is quite low for both teams. It's just been a matter of South Australia's had a few more opportunities and they've got a few more runs. New South Wales, plenty of opportunities now. They're still held scoreless.
Yeah, 3 runners left aboard for New South Wales, 6 for South Australia, and after 3 innings of work from Grace Rickson, they are going to their bullpen. 3 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 1 strikeout of 63 pitches.
Chantel Ladner, the new pitcher for New South Wales. She pitched against South Australia in, well, numerous games last tournament. She pitched in that gold medal game versus South Australia. Went to Salt Lake College and then Utah in Division I. We know that, I'm told, people from Salt Lake were watching Chantel pitch earlier in this tournament on the great stream that Spacequake has provided, so shout out to them. But with the lineup turning over for a third time, every single player in South Australia's lineup reaching off Grace Rickson, they're not going to chance it going through a third time.
Yeah, with Pippa Adkins, the 9-hitter up to bat, who had a single with her one and only appearance against Rickson.
Adkins trains with the Queensland state team. Going to school up there right now, although a proud South Australian. Still loves to put on those state colors.
Ladner wears the double blues in the SA Premier League, the CMAX Premier League, playing for the Sturt Falcons, so not unfamiliar with this diamond this season.
Pippa used to play for the Double Blues.
Yeah, still registered with them, so she can play for South Australia.
Could she play for Sturt?
Yeah.
So if they need a little pinch run for their finals run?
Absolutely.
I'd love to see that.
You always want to see best on best, don't you?
Ladner just so competitive. She was a pitcher, then she was a hitter, then she was a pitcher again. Now she's a hitter and a pitcher. She can do a little bit of everything. Has sort of fallen, despite being an elite pitcher herself, has kind of fallen victim to just an anomaly of world-class pitching that exists in New South Wales right now.
Yeah, and there's a couple missing as well. Ellen Roberts and Tani Steptoe, both not playing this tournament, both Olympians.
Swing and a miss. She gets Pippa Adkins down on strikes for the first out of the inning. And for just the second time today, New South Wales have retired the leadoff batter.
That'll bring some confidence to the pitching circle for the New South Wales pitcher, but knowing there's a few West Torrens players in the lineup, sure, there's a little bit of doubt in the back of the mind of Ladner.
Amber Hood. worked that so crucial walk in the second inning that loaded the bases. South Australia didn't score any off of it, but Amber Hood did everything she could to try to get on. Then it's Benithan that will be on deck. Swing and a miss. Cool opportunity for Amber Hood to once again play with her sister. They've obviously grown up playing on teams of all different variations together, but with Georgia away and now them playing at different clubs, I'm sure it's certainly nice to play again together, the Hood sisters.
Yeah, they a formidable duo, aren't they, when they were at Seacombe? I'm sure when they were at Mount Gambier, so I didn't get to see them play in Mount Gambier, but you go back and you look at some of the state championship photos from a decade ago. You can see baby-faced Amber Hood and Georgia Hood playing in the A-grade competition at state championships. So they grew up playing together. Amber Hood used to be a pitcher before Georgia came along. She needed a catcher.
Hood flies one over into foul territory, and for the first time in this game, the first two runners are put away.
Yeah, well, Ladin is a class pitcher. Of course she is. She's in the Aussie team that went to the Canada Cup, and she's been there before. Won a number of titles with New South Wales throughout the junior age groups and the open age group. So she's a class pitcher herself.
Benithan. Part of a power athlete couple with Jack O'Loughlin, a former softball player himself, and now a professional pitcher with the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, the funny thing is that Jack O'Loughlin was one of the best hitters I've ever seen. So I'd say two-way player, Otani style, but no one ever lets him swing the bat. Don't laugh. Put a bat in his hands.
Yeah, we've seen him hit home runs as a 16-year-old in the A-grade comp here. Maybe when his pitching professional career dwindles down in his late, whatever it happens. But Haley Benithan is who it's all about right now. And how good of a tournament did she have at the under-23s just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I remember Coach Lucas thrilled to pieces to see her name on the list of players eligible for selection, and I don't think anyone knew how good she was going to be.
Grounded down the line.
Except Anthony Weatherstone. You ask him. He was a selector for both 23s and opens, and he was singing her praises. He did his research.
In
like
2014, Anthony Weatherstone came and he said, Haley Benithan has to be on the 2012. That's how adamant he was.
Yeah.
He was channeling his inner Lee Ho. And it's an absolutely right call. She's had multiple hit games, but she's down on strikes here. Ladner with a 1-2-3 inning. Very impressive. 2 strikeouts. One of Atkins, one of Benithan, and we played 4, and it's still a 3-0 game.
Yeah, well, an absolutely different look to the New South Wales team with Ladner pitching 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3. It's you know, I'm sure it's not the last you'll see of the South Australian offense, but yeah, New South Wales will take a little bit of momentum coming into the top of the 5th.
Well, the top of the 5th, so important for South Australia to at least get 2 outs of the first 3 batters. They've got Grace Rickson, Montana Kearns, and Isabel Hanna. If they can have 2 outs or all out before Michelle Cox, Stacey McManus, Stacey Porter, Taylor Titsakronis, and Rachel Lack are due up, that changes everything about the inning, doesn't it? So important that there's not 2 base runners on with 1 out with that part of the lineup coming out.
Yeah, it's a threat the entire way through the lineup for New South Wales. So if you can limit the damage at the bottom of the order, you're going to go a long way to push New South Wales. I'm not going to say beat because, and I mentioned it earlier, you're never going to be able to ride them off, even if they're down 6 runs in the 7th.
Well, New South Wales have had not just a big inning, but a monster inning in every single game they've played so far. We're still waiting for it in this game. The question is did South Australia take away those monster innings? Runners on first and second, no out in the 2nd. New South Wales didn't score. Runners on first, and then the double play, that a triple followed the double play that took away some runs off the board in the 4th. South Australian defense has taken away runs from New South Wales. just as New South Wales defense has taken away more runs for South Australia. Twice they've left the bases loaded.
Well, if every other game is to go by, they've still got a big inning in them. So it's not a matter of if, it's when. I like the idea of pitching by committee here from the South Australian team. Grauer, 9 batters. We've got Hood. She's thrown to 6 now, so she's got 7, 8, 9 to come this inning. Are we going to see another change?
It's a good question. And New South Wales, by the way, are on the verge of rare territory. A 6th inning. Once they've got to the 6th inning in this tournament.
Every game has been run rule.
New South Wales, Queensland did make it past the 5th. It was a run rule late, but every other game has been finished after the 5th inning. Do they even know that games are 7 innings?
Yeah, it's a question that's got to be asked, isn't it? Wes Rickson didn't want that one.
Full count. That just shows how dominant they've been entering this game, outscoring opponents 44-0. South Australia has outscored opponents by a hefty margin too, don't get me wrong.
Ooh.
It's a walk.
Pretty close. Yeah, doubling the runs for, 34 and 14 against. Not quite 44-0, but still
impressive.
Still impressive considering the next best team for runs for is 16.
Well, only 2 teams in the competition have a positive run differential after the first round.
Yeah, New South Wales, SA.
Montana Cairns up to bat. This is the 3rd time, and we're in the 5th inning, that New South Wales have had the lead runner on. This to center field. Diving in is Trzynski. She almost made another spectacular play.
She had her eyes on that ball the whole time, and I don't think you could doubt her intent and the energy that she put into it, but just falling short. So Kearns with a single. Pippa Atkins right on the spot to back it up. So we saw this last inning. Sorry, we saw this in the 2nd inning with batters 1 and 2 getting aboard for New South Wales.
Well, Cox, McManus, and Porter loom after Isabel Hanna, and they have yet to register a hit in this game. Law of averages not on South Australia's side, but runners on 1st and 2nd, no outs. They've got out of this jam once. Can they do it again? Georgia Hood gets a crucial first pitch strike. This slips away, so this is Chantel Ladner.
Yeah, so she replaced Isabel Hanna, so Grace Rickson would have gone out to right field. Didn't see that in the change. We were too busy fixed on Ladner. Go through her pitches.
Hey, the ball didn't really go in the field. Ladner struck out 2 batters.
Yeah.
But now it's runners in scoring position with that pass ball. Once again, it's Belle White leading the charge out in the circle. Rachel Tonkin, by the way, let's not undersell her catching ability behind the plate. As good as any at framing, and another tremendous leader. Great command behind the plate for Tonkin.
Yeah, she's been doing it for so long as well, but just under in the shadow of Belinda White. But, you know, she has made an absolute name for herself in the CMAX Premier League and amongst her South Australian teammates.
Now, this is the most amount of pressure South Australia has been in all game. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Open base at 1st. No outs. Ladner's smashed it around the park this tournament. And she's going to send one to center right field. Pippa Atkins makes the play. Runner tagging, and New South Wales are on the board.
Sacrifice fly, great piece of the ball from Ladner. Rickson scoring, slides into home unnecessarily because if you have a look at the Eastern replay, Atkins makes up good ground and then right at the last moment changes her mind, throws it to 3rd for that runner tagging up at 2.
It's a run limitation for South Australia, not wanting to put another runner over at 3rd base. Michelle Cox 0 for 2 in the game, although she was robbed of a base hit from Steph Trzynski on the very first batter of the game. Trzynski came and dove forward. Now that run slips away, and that Atkins throw crucial now because that would have scored a run. 2nd straight pass ball in this inning, or 2nd pass ball in this inning, not straight. And now another ball to the outfield will make it a one-run game.
Yeah, Cox, if she can lift this one like she did in her first at-bat to Trzynski, it will score another.
This is just a one-swing game all of a sudden. And that slips away, and that's going to score a run. Play at the plate. Ball slipped down low, and New South Wales have cut the deficit to 1. South Australia's defense has been the calling card all game long. And as soon as you make a couple mistakes, a couple wild pitches, a pass ball, and all of a sudden, New South Wales, bases are clear, but they are in a one-run game.
Dixon coming out to have a chat. Eastern replay of Kern sliding into home. Well, I wouldn't say that Hood was blocking the plate there, but they're getting a little bit of a tangle. Yeah, 3 pass balls in 4 pitches. A good time for Benedictson to come out and have a chat. The bases are cleared, so they can reset. They haven't continued with that plan of pitching by committee. Obviously, Grauer's plan was 9 batters and 9 batters only.
So it wouldn't have mattered if it was 5-0 or 0-0. Probably would have been gone after 9 anyway. Well, it was 5-0. She probably just would have been taken out. But quite clear when she's rolling and they take her out after 9. What? We've shown you enough. New South Wales finally responding, getting their first runs of the game. South Australia has led it from start to finish. This is a 7-inning game. Tip back, goes down as a strike.
Nothing wrong with Tonkin's catching. She's all class behind the plate, and as you mentioned, a leader. Would it put Hood to ease a little bit to have Amber Hood behind the plate?
Good question. No one would know her better. Flied out to center field. Trzynski trying to track it. It goes right to Haley Benithan. And it's just a big pop fly. 2 down. Bases clear for Stacey McManus.
Pass ball or not, that was good enough for a sacrifice fly. Just with no runners on, it goes against Cox. Nice piece of the ball, but well read at left field.
Stacey McManus.
Four outfield catches so far in the game. Each of the outfielders with at least a catch each. But this batter granted his second both times.
The first was in that first inning where Hood had to go on the backhand and change direction to make a really nice play. Porter standing on deck. It's now a one-swing game. Pitch way up high and gets the gasp from a very good contingency of New South Wales fans that have come over together.
Always have good contingent of fans, don't they? They travel well with the team. I guess that comes with the success that they have.
Up the middle, Amber Hood, another nice play, and Amber Hood is the kryptonite to Stacey McManus today. It's the 3rd time she's grounded out in that direction.
Yeah, South Australia's book on McManus has been spot on today. Get it on the outside edge, force her to push it towards second base. But it requires great coverage because McManus gets the ball up the middle regularly. So great defense from the red team. 2-run score, though.
2-run score, and finally New South Wales on the board. They had been pressuring. They had runners on first and second, nobody out in the second inning. Some great defense from South Australia, including 2 fielders' choices and a strikeout from Yo Grauer, got them out of the jam. In the 4th, the leadoff Stacey Porter got on, but they got Taylor Titsakronis to ground out into a double play, and it was important because the next batter, Rachel Lack, triple. She was stranded there. And finally, Rickson and Kearns, bottom of the lineup production for New South Wales, get on. They score their 2 runs. South Australia, meanwhile, they scored a first run off of the bat of Yo Grauer in the first inning. They left the bases loaded with 2 outs in the first, left the bases loaded with no outs. in the second inning. In the third, they got the first 2 on, and Chelsea Robinson drove them home to make it 3-0. And then Chantel Ladner came in with the 1-2-3 in the fourth. She's now facing Belle White, the person that grounded into a double play on a great play from Montana Kearns. Montana Kearns having a great game, by the way.
Yeah, she's been terrific, bat and glove.
Belle White leads things off for South Australia. That's your game reset. South Australia lead this one 3-2. Belle White showing bunt, hustling down the line. It'll be a tight play. White, does she get there?
Yeah, the ball's gone to right field.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then I guess she did.
Infield single for Belinda White.
We've seen this trick before versus New South Wales.
Well, let's have a look to see if they go red pen. I think she beat that out. Infield single for White, then
yeah, she
no
did.
Damage on the overthrow.
Infield hit. Yeah, Belle White, she's done this before. Belle White, the ball whisperer. You think back to that grand final game where Belle White tried to bunt down the line. It went foul and spun back fair, and it was a crucial moment in the game when Belle White got on. Yo Grauer, she's got an RBI already today.
Well, that hit from Belinda White really starts to put some momentum back in South Australia, because since that 2 RBI double from Chelsea Robinson and she slipped over second base, it's been all New South Wales. They've shut it down. They were able to lock it down. Belinda White has just changed the direction this game's going in.
Grauer trying to do a similar thing. She's got 2 hits today. The power of Grauer. Georgia Hood on deck. This is such a powerful middle of the lineup for South Australia.
And look, the post-turn bunt.
I know they're playing around with their lineup a little bit. I think one thing's for certain. White, Grauer, Hood will remain as their 3-4-5 no matter the scenario.
New South Wales boast a 3-4-5 of Porter, Titsa, Lack. I'm not sure there's a lineup in the world that could boast a 3-4-5 lineup like that, but South Australia putting their best case forward.
2 Aussie Spirit players and an NCAA player and a junior world champion in Yo Grauer. She goes up the middle. This could be 2. Cairns gets 1. Grauer down the line, not in time. Fielder's choice.
Yeah, Belinda White did what she could to get in the way of that play. Breaks up the double. McManus just has such a quick transition, doesn't she?
She sure does.
Not much changes except for the 1 out. Runner on 1 for SA. Power hitter to the plate.
Cracks on the first shot, right to the right field. Well taken. Out in right field by Grace Rickson. No, it's Isabel Hanna.
So Lack actually went 7-9 on the changeover.
And Rickson over to left field.
Yeah.
Rachel Lack with
She fielded it like a backhand on like a third baser.
Yeah,
Watch on the Eastern replay.
Might have saved at least a runner on third base. If that gets to the wall, Yo Grauer probably scores.
Yeah, she had a stab at it on the backhand side. Benedictson has a word to Sarah Tonkin with 2 runners aboard as New South Wales want to have a chat. Yeah, it was a good stop. She put it on the line to ensure that there was no extra bases for Grauer.
Tonkin up to bat, followed by Chelsea Robinson, and SA left the bases loaded twice. Couldn't get anything from it in the first 2 innings. You feel like they absolutely need to cash in at least another run here and provide some insurance for such a dangerous New South Wales team. Tonkin, another player with all the makeup of someone you'd love to have behind those power bats. She's a multiple premiership player, a catcher. She's been clutch in grand finals for the Stars before, part of this program for a long time.
Won a junior national championship with the under-19s with Steph Trzynski and Chelsea Robinson. Then that crew from 2015.
Yeah, sometimes you can't coach winning, and whatever Sarah Tonkin has, she's just won at every level she's played at. A nice little cabinet brewing at the Tonkin household. Robinson due up, and Tonkin to right field. That's the opposite field she normally goes to. Tonkin, one of the best pull hitters that you'll just see in the game.
She's such a strong little body, a little nugget of powerhouse. She has a lot of followers on her Instagram, ST Fit, and you know, she's just a ball of muscle. And so if she can get her hands to the outside edge, it will go to the fence because there's so much power in that body. Hit by
Ball
pitch.
slips away, hit by pitch, so bases are loaded again. And James, I was about to say, you know, we talked about Grauer being a missing link before. You look at Sturt, who had won a couple premierships in the CMAX Premier League. Tonkin missed the final series last year because of COVID and what happened to Sturt.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they missed out. That's a great point.
You want your missing link?
Yeah.
And they lost a couple one-run games.
Umpires are having a chat here. If we can have a look at the Eastern replay, it's hit the front leg. And Tonkin has just automatically gone up the bases. None of the players hustled except Stacey Porter. So there was a question in the mind of one player. Now, that's a player of influence right there. The umpires have a chat. It's a dead ball. Yeah, so dead ball was what the conversation was about. So there's that influence that one player can have in the game. And
bases loaded, one out in South Australia. Chelsea Robinson, by the way, already has the 2 RBI double that cashed in runs. They're taking the bat out of her hands, and they're going with Taylor Chillingworth. Chile, one of the rising stars of Australian softball, on some junior national teams, helped break not just a drought. They'd never been to a grand final before, and now Chile gets an opportunity with bases loaded to provide a decisive spark for the South Australian bats.
May have been a shock selection to some for the Gilley Shield team last year, but just really showed a promise in the SA CMAX Premier League a couple of seasons ago. There was 7 batters that hit over 400 a couple of seasons ago. 6 of them were Australian squad members. The 7th was Taylor Chillingworth. So up in rare air for the Premier League. Last year, you know, numbers down a little bit, but she lifted her game in other ways.
Was clutch in the finals too. There's a pair of teenagers at Port Adelaide that really gave some clutch hits throughout the series. Chillingworth, one of them. She also pitched in the tournament, one game as a relief.
Oh.
Just we'll just see what happens kind of thing.
And a no-hitter.
And a no. Yeah, just 5 innings, shutout baseball, or softball rather. So Chillingworth takes another strike. That was a good pitch from Ladner, catching the outside.
Yeah, don't know what the New South Wales book is on Chillingworth, but she's normally an early ball hitter in the count as well. So they've done well to get in front. That one replayed by Space Craig Sports, far enough outside to have a second look in the left-handed batter's box, if you don't mind, from Ladner.
South Australia have left the bases loaded twice in this game.
You look down the card, every batter has reached base. But you look at Sarah Tonkin's numbers, single to 7, sacrifice bunt, hit by pitch. Just a great contribution. She stands on first.
So gritty.
At the moment, yeah. Loaded bases for the 3rd time in this match for South Australia.
Jammed, caught. Tonkin gets back in time. So now 2 outs and Steph Trzynski to the plate. This is a momentum moment.
Yeah, 2 out, Trzynski to the plate. She led off the 2nd with a double and was denied, even though 5 batters came to the plate.
How big are those bases loaded that South Australia has left in the 1st and 2nd looking now? I mean, we could be talking about a mercy rule if South Australia had found ways to get those runners across.
Leaving 6 on base and 3 at the moment.
Now, granted, South Australia's also taken runs off the board from New South Wales. Both teams have had some spectacular defensive moments to limit the other team all throughout this contest. South Australia was up 3-0. New South Wales got 2 in the top of the 5th. South Australia with bases loaded. Steph Trzynski was looking for a big blow there.
She was just off of it there. Looked like the line of the bat was pretty good. It was just the timing. It's been Well, so far, an epic. You mentioned the highlight package for this will be the entire game. The arm wrestle, it's almost coming back to center.
She smashed one off the wall in this game already. And that pitch called again for a strike. Ladner will be loving that, knowing that that's there.
Well, I'd be living on that edge if they're going to get called all day.
(0-2) to South Australia's two-time calf coral medalist. Called out on strikes.
Backdoor.
For the third time today, South Australia leave the bases loaded, and the window is well and truly open for New South Wales.
Third strikeout for Ladner. She really worked the outside and then comes inside. Look at Titsacrona setting up low and inside. Trzynski gives herself some room. Big punch out from the plate umpire.
What a fantastic, fantastic game.
3-2 after 5. Hood comes back. She's going to go around again. You've got Trzynski playing center field. You've got Jade Peterson in the hoodie. And Yo Grauer hasn't been seen. Or she had an at-bat, didn't she? I was going to say hadn't been seen since she cut out of the game. So Chillingworth was, well, Robinson has been re-entered for Chillingworth.
New South Wales has 6 outs to peg back 1 run, and they have Porter, Titsacronis, and Lack due up this inning. Although the bottom of the lineup not to be feared, or to be feared, I should say, as well. I mean, Rickson and Cairns are the ones that have the 2 runs for New South Wales. There's no break in the lineup.
No. Contributions 1 through 9.
It's a 1-swing game, and all 3 of these next batters can power it over the fence.
9 runners left on board for South Australia, 3 left on board for New South Wales, and that comes down to the 10 hits in the game for South Australia to New South Wales, just the 2.
Yeah, the score is a lot closer than South Australia would have hoped, given out those stats and saying you had bases loaded 3 times versus New South Wales. Entering this game, only once in the entire tournament had a team got a runner past second base versus New South Wales. South Australia's left them loaded 3 times.
Well, they've put a template out there for other teams to emulate if you want to take it to New South Wales, offensively and defensively.
Well, regardless of what happens in this game, even if New South Wales do come back, South Australia have just shown that, yeah, New South Wales are beatable. Opportunities have been there. New South Wales has been elite defensively to keep runners off the board and had some timely strikeouts. Check swing from Porter, didn't go. It's coming down to the wire. These teams have played so many close games over the last few years of this Gilley Shield.
Well, New South Wales have got the outside edge. Stacey Porter was halfway down the line, taken off the arm guard. South Australia get the outside edge. The count goes full.
Give it to me, give it to you.
Such a privilege to call and watch this batter up at close quarters. Hood wants the inside edge. Look at the reaction from the pitcher.
Georgia Hood is animated. Always has been, always will be.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's see how close this was. They got the outside edge of the last pitch. Cut across the front edge of the quarter, but
very similar pitch to the one that Ladner threw that last inning.
Just a bit inside.
And you can see the reaction from Georgia.
Tonkin framed that really well. Looks terrific. The
tying run aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. Titsacronis swings at it. Nice play from Hood. They get the lead runner. Can they get 2? They don't. But how is Amber Hood at second base today?
I'm telling you now, any other player with the momentum going to first would have just given up that lead runner. But she had it hit hard to her in enough time to flip it around and get Porter going to 2. So a fielder's choice. And at second base, rock solid today.
Amber Hood's got Stacey McManus out 3 times. That's the second time she's got Taylor Titsakronis. I mean, that's going down as a fielder's choice. But remember, it was the 6-4-3 that Robinson was involved in. Porter was also involved in a play. Amber Hood right around the middle of some fielder's choices, some double plays, some spectacular efforts in the field. South Australia in this game haven't been able to afford any kind of slop at second base, and it's about as clean as you can get for Amber Hood to this point. Rachel Lack, she has got to third base twice in this game. Walk and then eventually moved around to second moved around in the second, and then a triple.
A walk and a triple. Did that foul off the bat?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not.
Maybe it might have hit her.
Let's get a look.
Eastern replay.
Oh yeah, it was off the helmet. Oh,
I thought it fouled off the bat.
I thought it did too. Well, Bree Trim now has the go-ahead run on the base paths.
She's evaded it, and well, that's why the helmets are for, and to protect the batter. She looks okay. Just having a chat with the first base coach just to make sure everything's all right. Runners at 1 and 2 for New South Wales with 1 out, and Bree Trim, who's grounded out back to the pitcher and then flied out to centre field. It was a line drive almost to centre field as Steph Drzezinski had to pluck one out of the air.
Well, the action's been tense from the get-go in this game, but things have heated up, not just metaphorically, but also physically. The sun now peeking through. You can feel that temperature rise around you. Very fitting, as New South Wales, who are down 3 runs, just got out of a bases-loaded jam, now have a chance to take the lead.
Infield fly is the call. Chelsea Robinson completes the catch. That's 2 out. So Taylor Titsakronis will have to be replaced as the runner. Out comes Isabel Hanna.
Well, Chelsea Robinson back on the field. She was pinch hit for Taylor Chillingworth, and a call I was just a little surprised by, only because it was Robinson that has, as it stands, the go-ahead runs in this game.
Yeah, and in the end, you can't always get it right, but it was an opportunity to bring a young player into the game who's done some damage in the past.
As good as they come.
If you remember, her first at-bat of
That's
national
right.
championships was against New South Wales in the opening game, and it was an RBI.
Yep. Well, Grace Rickson has a couple runners on, as she's had most of the tournament and has delivered most of the tournament. Rickson with 8 RBIs in her 4 games entering this. She's been on twice today already, a fielder's choice and a walk. She'll be among the RBI leaders, and these are 2 of the biggest ones of the tournament so far. This one fouled straight back into Sarah Tonkin, and it's an 0-2 count. South Australia had bases loaded, and New South Wales got out of a jam. South Australia trying to get out of their own jam right now.
Just fouled back into the mask of the catcher. She's all right. Came over to fetch the ball from us. No signs of anything. 2 on, 2 out, 0-2 count in a 3-2 game.
Well, I think pitcher's starting to think, hey, let's try to attack that outside edge a little bit. The call has been there most of the game. Flared out towards right field. Charging on is Adkins. Adkins gets the catch. What a play! Pippa Adkins needed every bit of momentum to make that play.
Eastern replay, she gets on her bike. She has to make up about 20, 25 meters. She didn't ever look like she was going to give up, but the last few steps were measured as she reaches out and completes the catch in foul territory, denying New South Wales, although they had 2 runners aboard. That'll be their 5th runner left on base for the game. But after 6 complete innings, New South Wales have been reduced to 2, their lowest scoring game of the tournament so far. And South Australia have led from the bottom of the first inning. Can they put an insurance run on here.
Both teams have had to play some excellent defense, and here's your quick catch-up for those that are joining us just for this 7th and final inning, maybe, of this game. We will play until there's a result.
There you go, you've said it.
I have. Yes, someone had to. South Australia, they got an early run. Yo Grauer drove in Haley Benithan, who slid in a nice little touch of the plate to make it 1-0. Then they left the bases loaded in the first. Bases loaded, no out in the second, and they left them loaded. Chelsea Robinson drove in 2 runs in the third, and then South Australia left bases loaded again in the 5th. New South Wales, they pressured in the second. Runners on first and second, nobody out. South Australia get out of that jam. Rachel Lack's triple in the 4th. Still no dice. South Australia out of the jam. They score 2 thanks to Rickson and Cairns in the 5th. And then runners on first and second in the 5th inning. Ayazawa, first pitch swing from
Pippa
Atkins, sorry, and Atkins is now rounding second. She was held up slightly. She didn't think that she should have gone home, and she could have. Oh my goodness, I'm just at a loss of words.
It's a bit of chaos on that play. Pippa Atkins, first pitch swinging. She struck out last time against Ladner. Hits one right past the goat in Porter. She may have even got a glove to it, slowing the pace of the ball down, but it goes down the right side. Pippa Atkins gets to 2. You watch her, it looks like she holds up, then wave through because the right fielder stumbled as the throw comes in. It mixed the cutoff, and she stands up at 3.
Back at the top of the lineup, and now the 2nd time through versus Chantel Ladner, 4th time through on the day for this South Australian batting order. And Amber Hood, who's been excellent defensively, just a fly ball should score a run. And behind the plate, Taylor Titsakronis is going to have to be perfect.
Credited as a triple, so you can't penalise a player for deflecting off the glove when it hums past you with a vapor trail.
It was absolutely smashed. All these players making some incredible contributions. Hood's been on base, a few nice plays in the field. Benithan's been on base. She scored a crucial run in this game. Belle White's been on base twice. Yo Grauer has 2 hits, been on base twice.
With an RBI. 2
hits for Georgia Hood. Tonkin with a hit, a bunt, and a hit by pitch. Chelsea Robinson with a double and an RBI. Steph Trzynski with a double and a spectacular catch in the outfield. And Pippa Atkins with that huge catch to end the last inning. Now a single and a triple. It's not just one contribution every player in this team is making. It's multiple contributions throughout this game.
Well, you get that through 1 through 9 in your order, maybe even a contribution from a pinch runner or a pinch hitter at some stage, substitution. You're gonna win every single time you hit the diamond.
South Australia, though, has left 10 on in the game. 11 hits to 2 in this game. Unbelievable. Inside, Amber Hood. Full count coming. South Australia trying to add to the lead before they go. No matter what happens, even if they don't score in this, they will have to defend with 3 outs up their sleeve in the 7th. Hood flares one into foul territory. It just has enough go to get out.
Movement in the New South Wales dugout, but that could be to warm up the pitcher for the next game because they play again at 12:30, which is just 40 minutes away, or it will be 30 minutes after the completion of this game. I don't think we'll see a replacement, but unless Ladner just gets towed up in this inning based on Balls Hood's 2nd time.
How many pitches has Amber Hood seen today?
At least 10.
Well, that was an 8-pitch at bat. Remember her opening one? 21 is the answer. How's this first service from the scorers next? 1 is the answer. How's this first service from the scorers next to us? She's seen
Jim Giles, one of the best in the business.
21 pitches in the game today through her 4 at-bats. She's made pitchers work.
How's this for a turnaround? In game 1 of this tournament, New South Wales had 10 hits to South Australia's 1.
Benithan lays down the bunt. It's a squeeze. It's a run,
Safe.
and then she's safe. That could not have gone any better for South Australia.
Oh my. Haley Benithan on the Eastern replay lays down a great bunt to the backhand side of Ladner, who barehands it. Pippa Atkins knew it was coming. She's halfway down the line before Ladner can even get it. She's very happy. Oh, wow. Runners at 1 and 2 for Belinda White. And the Stars are out to a 4-2 lead.
Look at the brains on Bill. What a call from Bill Benedictson to lay down the squeeze to try to get that insurance run. Well, if you weren't scoring them with bases loaded in other ways, you may as well try to get a bit creative, right? Belle White grounded into a double play that Montana Cairns was really, it was all her. It wasn't really Belle's fault, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it was an amazing play. It looked like well, not just a single, it looked like an extra base hit because it was in the center right alley, heading out towards the MC and CPC signs on the home run fence. But
South Australia have already scored a run, no outs, runners on first and second, and the heart of the lineup is now up. White called for a strike. This could not have gone any better to start this inning for South Australia.
Yeah, Adkins, after an amazing catch, very next pitch, ropes one for a triple. Amber Hood walked in a long at bat. Hayley Benithan squeeze play first pitch. Reaching to, bunts to reach safely. So an infield single, Pippa Atkins scores, so that's the RBI. Amber Hood advancing to 2. It's a dream start because it's a different play for each batter as well. It's not just stand and deliver.
Triple, walk, bunt. And now White looking to drive. Goes with a great pitch up high to strike out the Olympian.
4th strikeout for Ladner, and in a rare swing above the shoulders for Belinda White. She still went hard. Why not? 2 runners on, no out.
Grauer 2 for 3, 2 singles and a fielder's choice. Has at least reached second base in every one of her turns at bat. She scored the first run of the game by driving in Hayley Benithan. Another insurance mark on the path for South Australia.
New South Wales had a little bit of trouble with signals with runners on 2 so far in this game.
Finds the zone.
Needing to call time on that one. Next 2 batters have got 4 hits between them.
And Sarah Tonkin has found a way to be productive every one of her at-bats. Credit to Ladner. The difficult part of the lineup, she's not shying away at all.
Yeah, you always see New South Wales pitchers attack the batters because they've got a great defense behind them.
Ladner thought she had it on that outside part, just drifted too far away. First ball on Grauer.
Grauer kills off a change of pace from Ladner.
I feel like South Australia just need that extra safety net here.
Well, they've got one already, and they've got their 4 or 5 hitters with a runner in scoring position due up. If they're going to get that extra, it's going to be in the next 2 batters.
Ladner has come back with runners in first and second, and the 3-4 batters up with strikeout, strikeout.
That's unbelievable pitching from Ladner, and then a cheeky little throw over to 2 for Titsakronis just to keep Amber Hood honest.
Now, Georgia Hood's going to be the woman that's going to try to close this thing out for South Australia, and she can help her own cause here. video game numbers with Pensacola right now in college.
Yeah.
Was a teammate with Isabel Hanna, who was in the starting lineup for this New South team. SA already had left 10 runners on, including 3 times bases loaded in this game, and now with runners on first and second, no outs, that's quickly turned into another what-if moment for SA. Pop straight up in the air.
Hood and Grauer have combined for the 6 innings of work, keeping New South Wales to 2. They're combining with the bats. 4 hits.
2 runs.
2 runs.
They've hit it to all parts of the outfield. 7, 8, 9 they've had hits to.
Keeping New South Wales to just 2 hits. So between the 2 batters, they doubled the amount of hits New South Wales have got for the game.
Is that good?
44 runs for and none against coming into this game. I'm going to say it's good.
Scored 1 thanks to the Atkins triple to start this inning.
And I've seen 3 teams arrive to the ballpark. All eyes on this diamond at the moment, watching these 2 ladder leaders go head to head.
It's a walk, and for the 4th time today, bases juiced.
Yeah, well, South Australia are out hitting New South Wales 12-2 as Jordan Harris comes into the game as a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Georgia Hood. So 12 hits to 2. But the walks as well, the number of pitches these South Australian batters have taken in this game. 4 walks, a hit by pitch, but they're going deep in counts, aren't they? They're fouling balls off. They're seeing pitches.
You know who's cheering for New South Wales right now is likely Queensland, who do not want to see South Australia move another game ahead of them in the standings.
Yeah, it's a long way back with just 5 games to go to make up 2 games.
They do play each other once, so Queensland in a lot of respects still control their destiny to get into the 1-2 game. Yep. However, they lose control of that destiny if South Australia win right now.
Well, it means that they've got to beat New South Wales and then South Australia tomorrow.
They have to go perfect.
Yep. And rely on runs against, probably.
Becomes complicated.
Because then, if that happens, there'll be 3 teams on 8 wins and 2 losses.
It becomes very difficult. They'll be cheering for New South Wales here. I mean, this game, if SA can hold on, it becomes really difficult for them not to be 1-2. I know there's a lot of games to go, but you'd think that is what it would be. That's what the short odds, they'd suspend betting.
Well, if that's the way that this game ends.
But there's a long way to go here, and if New South Wales can get out of a bases-loaded jam for a 4th time in this game, all the momentum will be on their side with their scoring part of their lineup coming up. Tonkin, though, every at-bat has been asked to do something different. The single in the 1st, had to lay down a bunt in the 3rd, and then took a pitch to load the bases in the 5th.
And she's 0-2 here. What can she deliver?
And fouled away a last couple. That was her pitch. Tonkin already had a bases clearing moment
against
ACT yesterday.
I think she had 4 RBIs in that game.
Oh, unbelievable.
There's been players, yeah, that have great big RBI numbers, haven't we? We saw Taylor Titsakronis in their 2 home run game. What was it, 5 RBIs? Haley Benithan had a 5 RBI game against Queensland.
Knocks one to the outfield. She's done it again. 1 run scores. They're pushing for 2. A play at the plate, and she scores. Sarah Tonkin delivers a crucial 2 RBI single, and South Australia have a 6-2 lead.
They've doubled their score in this inning. They've scored 6. Watch Hayley Benaithen turn. She takes on the arm of Rickson. There's no play at the plate this time. Harris gets to 2. Amber Hood's going to come in as courtesy runner for the catcher Tonkin. Chelsea Robinson, who's got 2 RBIs, comes to the plate.
And that's a moment that relieves all of the pressure.
Batter number 8 for the inning.
Flared up into foul territory, Porter having a look. Could you have imagined the psyche of the South Australian team? Now, this is a champion team, so I have no doubt, I'm not saying the game would have been over, but it would have had to be demoralizing, saying we've left the bases loaded 4 times if you walk back to that dugout.
Yep.
Tonkin with a huge moment, and
Another
now
hit.
Robinson goes up the middle, and a run is going to be sent to the plate. They're in safely. Jordy Harris scores. South Australia up 7-2, and the mercy rule run is aboard.
Well, I was just going to say a home run ends the game, but then the ball was hit up the middle by Robinson for a 3rd RBI. I was actually even going to say that you won't see Cox take on the speed of Harris. You watch her cross the plate well in time. Amber Hood stayed put at 2, though, so there was no damage for that play at the plate, but a 4th run in the bottom of the 6th. And I got to say, for the first time in this tournament, New South Wales look a little flat, at least deflated.
Well, they still will be top of the table because of the run rule difference. They'll split the head-to-head if this game stays what it is. New South Wales haven't had their big inning yet. They've had one every game, so don't think for a second that 5 runs isn't possible for New South Wales. I'm just saying if the score holds.
Well, Trzynski put a charge into one in the bottom of the 2nd. So that 1 extra rep that you were talking about, if she can manage it this inning, maybe she's been doing some push-ups.
New South Wales hadn't allowed a run in their first 5 games. They've allowed 7 in this. And honestly, it could have been more.
9th batter of the inning. 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
A gutsy effort, top to bottom, from this South Australian team. They've been brilliant defensively as well. If Chelsea Robinson can score from first, the game ends. 7-2, not representative of how close this game has been from start to finish.
Yeah, and it's shades of 2022, isn't it? With a run rule win by South Australia in round 2.
And a loss in round 1.
Loss in round 1.
0-2 count. Takes a pitch up high. What an entertaining game, start to finish. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage, the call, the broadcast, but mainly just the action that is being provided to you by these incredible athletes on the field wherever you're watching around the country.
Yeah, thanks to Spacequake Sports, we're bringing every game, all 34 games of the 2023 Gilley Shield.
Called out on strikes, and Trzynski can't believe it, but Ladner does strike out the side, but not before South Australia played 4 runs. They've got a 5-run cushion heading into the final inning. 6 strikeouts now for Chantel Ladner, but SA, what a confidence-building game for them.
Look inside even where she's framing.
Taylor Titsakronis has been pretty good behind
Yeah, 11 runners left on base. We're going back to 2022. It was a 3-2 win for New South Wales in extra inning for the first game of the tournament. And then you turn it around into round 2. It was 9-3 in favour of SA. So it wasn't run rule in the end. It was run rule. That's okay. I've been known to be wrong before. Yeah, New South Wales scored 3 in the bottom of the 7th. It was 9-0 going into the 7th, and New South Wales scored 3.
Well, South Australia 3 outs away from winning their 5th game in a row, and them becoming the in-form team, with New South Wales trying to claw it back. This is the part of the lineup that got it started in their scoring inning in the 5th. Montana Kearns has played a really nice game defensively. She's had a good game with the bat. New South Wales' best hope is to get Kearns and Ladner on here and then turn it over to their 5 Olympians in a row and try to mount a rally. This is not over yet.
Well, when you're looking for a spark from your team,
they get one.
They get one, and I was going to say you go to the top of the order, but if there's been a player that has provided that spark for New South Wales all game, both offensively and defensively, it's been Montana Kearns.
South Australia have to be careful here not to take their foot off the gas. They have to treat this inning like it could be even that 1-2 run ball game, that close game, because New South Wales has gone bang with a big inning in every single game so far this tournament. They've yet to have one in this one, and it still could come.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were threatening in the 5th, weren't they? A walk and a single, a sacrifice fly for the first 3 batters. And then 3 great defensive plays to deny them when they put 2 on the board to reduce the margin to 1. Ladner's first plate appearance was a sacrifice fly. RBI scoring Rickson.
Pitch on the outside. Last thing South Australia want to do is give New South Wales a pep in their step. Big pitch from Georgia Hood to come back with that strike. Sarah Tonkin provided that pivotal moment. She cashed in 2 runs with bases loaded to put it to 6-2 for South Australia with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. SA hollering for it, they don't get it.
Well, Ladner got the exact same pitch to strike out Steph Trzynski to end this 6th inning. That's why the SA girls wanted that pitch.
Full count, runner on. New South Wales trying to mount a comeback. Check swing just to stay alive.
Although Ladner gave up 4 in that inning, she threw 6 strikeouts for her 3 innings of work. It was pretty impressive up until Pippa Atkins hit one to the fence, walked Hood, RBI squeeze play from Benithan to start off that bottom of the 6th inning. Here she is now with bat in hand after the 3 outs of that inning were all strikeouts.
Eight pitch at bat. Up the middle. Hood, 1. Robinson, 2. South Australia defense all game long.
Yeah, Amber Hood with another ground ball playing the lead runner. SA's had a few double plays already in the tournament and then make it 2 for this game. Easton replay turns carefully over to Robinson and then fires one across for the bang-bang double.
First pitch swing, and it's so fitting that Amber Hood, a star for the Stars in the field today, and South Australia have knocked off New South Wales. Both teams now sit at 5-1 at the top of the standings, and a statement has been made at the Gilley Shield.
Unbelievable from the SA team. There's another look at the double play from SA, and here's the game ending, the game-winning play. Georgia Hood pitching, Amber Hood doing the fielding, and then the captain with the polish right at the end. Well, what a matchup.
I mean, it might be a big confidence boost for South Australia. Maybe that little check that New South Wales might need. You can't win a tournament without facing adversity, and this was a heck of a lot of adversity that New South Wales faced all game, and there's no doubt that they will grow from this game.
Both teams will have tricks, that they've got up their sleeve for the next time these two face off. But yeah, both teams showed a lot of fight. They both had moments where they looked like that they were either in control or coming back into the game.
Wow.
That was a great matchup.
More games to come. James Harris, a pleasure calling the game with you. That was a lot of fun. Thanks to producer Brandon, all the camera crew at Spacequake Sports. Stay tuned. Doubleheader games coming up at 12:30. We'll see you then.